Hello.
Welcome to week 2 of the Pride live stream learning.
Happy Pride.
Yes, happy Pride Month once again. We are, if you've been following our work, we are in Bali right now. Woohoo! But we didn't want to miss this opportunity to connect with you. So we set a firm boundary for ourselves, which me now anticipates might be hard to follow, of like not working while we're in Bali, aside from, keeping all updated with cool pictures and posts. So we're trying to make sure that I can follow that and not feel like I want to work while I'm trying to relax. So here we are, still with you and showing up on our Friday at 2:30 because you deserve this and it's important.
Yeah.
So what are we going to talk about today?
Pre-recorded,
but still hanging out kind of live. You're here live.
Yeah.
What is time and space anyway?
It's true.
Well, let's get into it now that we've...
Sidetrack.
So today we want to talk about like gender dynamics in LGBTQIAP+ relationships. And like taking time to talk about gender dynamics and how they show up in our relationship is really important, because the truth is that gender affects like our sense of gender, and our programming around gender shows up in so many different places of our relationship. Right?
Yeah, it really does. And I think that, the most easy to grasp onto are like household, like labor divisions.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of times those fall along
gendered
lines. But then there's some that like can flip across that are like neutral.
I think for the biggest one for me that comes up is sex.
Sure, initiation.
Right? Like who initiates and how do they initiate? Who,
top and bottom.
Exactly.
Switch.
Right?
Yeah.
And even the like how we feel desired, how we approach a person, how we want to be approached. Gender and like our programming around the man does it this way and the woman does it this way, or this is masculine and this is feminine. Like that's all in us, whether we're queer, gender diverse, like no matter how you identify, like we're still swimming in those waters. I think about other things too, right? Like what else can you think of? I mean, obviously your sense of self, gender comes into a big play in your sense of self, your comfort in your own skin and your body, depending on how gender shows up, which also, again, intersects sometimes with sex for folks in our community.
Your career.
Your career, certainly. And whose career gets maybe privileged or prioritized.
Well, I mean, usually that falls along money lines, not gender lines, but not always.
In cis-het relationships, it often falls along gender lines. And cis-het men can feel very emasculated when their woman makes more than them, or if they're following her career, or the woman will tend to like
very emasculated,
not like deprioritize her own career to prioritize his. Right? So
sure.
Like, how do we do it? How do you do it as an LGBTQ+ person?
Yeah, and as full disclosure, if you're like new, because you see me, I'm
Who are these people?
Former B, L, and currently T in the event.
BL, like bisexual?
I started as a B for a hot second.
You're a gold star. How does that even count?
It was because I was too afraid to say that I was L or T.
Okay. I thought you meant B as in like butch, but then I'm like,
that too. I've definitely always been masculine.
Yes. Yes. And I identify as queer. I once identifies as heterosexual, and then
L too.
And then B, and then L, and then Q, because I don't want to be put in a gendered orientation box.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's important. Like even that, right? Like even our sexual identity or the labels that we pick for ourselves are tied to gender.
Yeah. Crazy.
but what's important like in bringing this to light is that we want to invite you to like be conscious of what your programming is around gender, right? I remember a time when I was with my former wife, and her name was Stephanie, and whenever she would like write Stephanie instead of Steph, I would feel uncomfortable because she was a masculine presenting woman, and Stephanie felt way too feminine. And I'm like, that's just wrong. You can't have a feminine name and be a masculine presenting person. Like that, like weird internalized stuff. But it's also like, how do you communicate? Who takes up more talking space? How do you share power in your relationship? How do you what expectations are you holding? I think that's really the big thing, right? As we're talking this through.
Well, I think if you're to boil it all down,
Yeah.
into a single thing,
Right.
it is
What are your expectations?
your expectations, whether you're conscious of the fact that you're expecting them or not.
Yes. And they're expectations both of your partner,
Yeah.
like how they're supposed to act, and they're expectations of yourself, how you're supposed to act. Like as a parent, there's all kinds of expectations that we follow around like what it means for me to be a mom and what it means for him to be a dad. And I remember before your transition, like there was tension there because
a lot of tension.
The gendered expectations for mama,
even the word was just like yeah, just didn't feel, the energy around it didn't feel aligned.
And I think that for some couples in our community, like when we're kind of just running on autopilot around these gendered expectations, this programming, it can create friction, right? Because if you've got, for example, two women and both expects the other to be the initiator or the dominant person in the bedroom, and that's neither of their styles, then you end up with like
incompatibility and authenticity.
The sense of incompatibility, right? The perception of it.
Yeah.
And what do they call that? Lesbian dead Beth dead Beth
bed
death. Like, I could not get that out of my mouth.
Okay.
Lesbian bed death, which, by the way, research suggests is not a real thing.
No.
Topic for another day.
But really that too is. We should do a topic on that.
Yeah, but I mean, yes, because that's real.
Lesbian relationships,
in particular.
Yes, because they have the highest divorce rate.
Yes.
And there's a reason for that. And I'd love to just spend some time speculating about it.
It would be speculation, to be sure.
Totally. But I have some really great theories.
Interesting. We'll have to pre-discuss that before we launch it as like a live stream educational, maybe like disclaimer. This is speculation. We're just playing around with ideas here. Who knows? Anyways, we're sidetracked once again.
Sorry.
So we're talking about gender dynamics, and we're inviting you to become more conscious of it, because there's probably a lot of programming at work about who you're supposed to be, how your partner's supposed to be, and the script about how you two are supposed to do this relationship dance together, right? That script is so gendered. And we have so few, more than we used to, even 20 years ago when we first came out, but Cal and I, but like still relatively few examples of how we could do gender differently, right? Like how we could do relationships differently, how we do sex differently, how do we do parenting differently, how do we do chores differently, how do we do careers differently. And that takes, honestly, it takes extra energy to be conscious, to be intentional about how you want to navigate that. And there's a really great opportunity there, right? Like there's real possibilities for what we can create when we bring consciousness to like what our programming is and how we actually want to show up and operate.
Yeah. And like what's cool about it is you're sort of forced to negotiate it. Whether whether you're forced to do it, or whether you have the foresight to like have a conversation about it, I think it's usually the first one, right? Where it's just like you recognize you have this friction, and now it's in front of you to deal with, right? But it's one of those things that most cishet couples don't even tread upon, like having this level of conversation. Maybe a little bit more lately, because I think the feeds have
we're evolving,
awaken
maybe
a little bit.
a little bit.
Yeah,
a little bit.
We're seeing more of each other through social media and like different possibilities, and you know, it is, there are more examples of queer families and relationships in the media we do consume.
But and like y'all are leading the way.
Absolutely.
Like we are the trailblazers, my friends.
We are, because there's no rules.
Yeah.
We're making them up relationship by relationship, person by person.
Yeah.
Because there are no rules.
Yeah. Even where it comes to like how we identify in our gender, or whether our gender stays the same or changes. Like just think about that. Think about the power, and the magic and the global transformation that our community is leading the charge of in deconstructing the idea of gender and gender binary, and creating so much space for choice and authentic expression without all of the shoulds, all of the expectations. And so like if you find that these expectations and these shoulds and this programming shows up sometimes in your relationship, that's a great opportunity for you to bring attention to it and like
choose it or not, right? Claim it or trash it.
Right. But what you're choosing is what's authentic to you.
Right.
And that is so bold, so rebellious, so courageous, and
so different,
right? Like in a really unique, beautiful way.
Yeah.
And I guess
evolved. I'm just gonna say.
Yes. Yeah. It's really, you know, and I think you have, or if you haven't, you will again hear us talk about the way that our community is this like leading edge evolution of what's possible in relationships, right? This revolution for what it means to be who you are and what love can look like. So yeah. What else do we want to say about gender? Just know that like, yeah, it's harder that you have to spend energy and time and in figuring out and carving your own path, right? Designing your own life, designing your own relationship. It's not laid out for you. And it would be easier if it were. But that easier path doesn't serve us in our relationships the way that a conscious and chosen one does. And so who you decide that you are, how you decide that you want to show up in your relationship, what you decide that you need or desire from the partnership, like you get to sculpt that and create that from your own like creative energies. And that is so cool.
Your own desire for like, yeah, experiencing what it is that you want to be experiencing. Like how cool is that? It is a little bit daunting. Right? Like when I think of even drawing a picture, it's hard to I don't know, be cool with the scale and not find things I want to tweak or change or whatever, right? But like also give yourself permission to do that.
Yes.
Right? Like
to change it.
This doesn't have to be the final design.
Yeah. You don't have to figure it all out now. Just keep taking one step at a time.
Yeah. When you're intentional about the design.
Yeah. Like, so how do we want to attend to this piece of our relationship? How do we want to address this? Who do I want to be? What is the power dynamic here? How do we decide who does this or gets privileged here? Like all of those get to be your choices. And while that, again, that may be hard and take extra energy, it's also a real blessing. And one of the things that's so important that I hope you take away from this conversation is just that mindset shift of like, this is a problem or this is a challenge in our relationship to this is an opportunity for us. This is a gift for us. It's not necessarily hard, but it takes energy and it can be uncomfortable. And it stretches us. It forces us to grow. And growth is rarely, if ever, a comfortable process.
That's super comfortable.
Right.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. So talk about it. Talk about it with one another. Think about it for yourself. Bring curiosity to the dynamics that might present as challenging in your LGBTQ relationship. And just consider, like, how do my gender expectations, how does gendered programming, or how might it be playing a role here? And just see what you can learn. Because I bet that there's a piece of it. And when we have that awareness of anything, when we have awareness, we have choices. And when we have choices about what to do,
we have power.
We have power. We have power to create the life and the love that we want. And so that's what lies ahead of you, friend, in this amazing, beautiful relationship that you're in, that we celebrate that you are here and courageous enough to be you and to love the way you love in this world. Thank you for your existence here. And we want to just kind of wrap up by inviting you. It's a bit different of an invitation this month. Of course, the invitation is always open to work with us. I know, especially as part of the queer and trans community, it is so essential to get support in your relationship from people who get not only your unique relationship dynamics, but your personal identity and what that means.
What it's like to walk in
your skin
in that world.
Absolutely. And that's why it's so important for us to be out and proud and visible, because we know that our community needs us, and we want to take a really powerful stand for our community and the possibilities that we know that your relationships, all of our relationships, have for the transformation of the world, to say nothing of the joy we all deserve. So I'll just say that. So yeah, so the door's always open to working with us. Just send us a DM. But what we really want to talk about this month is our Proud Love Challenge, because we're super excited about it.
Yeah.
And we would love for you to join.
Yeah, we would. It's a free 5-day challenge for your relationship where I wish we had the list of things, the days, and what we're covering.
It's okay. Maybe next time we'll be more prepared.
Yeah. It's probably on our social media if you take a scroll.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'd love to just challenge you in helping to create more connection, more fun. Oh yeah, fun
is a big part of this challenge.
Yes,
we want it to be fun.
We do, because June's just like a freaking fun month.
Yes.
And party.
And like, our goal is to support every couple who joins the challenge in creating a relationship they feel even more proud of.
Yes.
So we want to every day connect to like good feelings while also doing some growth and learning and skill building to make your relationship even better. It's just to be clear, the Proud Love Challenge is open to any and all couples. Yes. So it's not specific to the queer and trans community.
But you have to be queer and trans, like an ally.
Yes.
If you're going to be coming in here starting drama and stuff, like, please.
We're kicking you out.
Please just save yourself the energy.
Yes.
We don't need it.
Yes.
Thank
so
you.
A safe and affirming place.
Yeah.
For all relationships, where we want to support you in just having fun and learning and growing as a partnership and creating a relationship that you feel even more proud of. So we will be live from 4 to 5 p.m. Pacific, Monday through Friday, June 24th through 28th. So it's at the end of the month.
Yes.
But join now so that you have time to get into the Facebook group and start the pre-challenge challenge.
Yeah. And the pre-challenge challenge gives you an opportunity to win prize. Well, one of the first.
The first prize.
We're giving away prizes every day. So if you do the pre-challenge challenge, you'll be like set up
in the drawing
for the first prize of day one.
Yes.
And it's, I think, probably the only challenge where you'll get multiple entries.
Yes. So
opportunity for that. So,
it's a good one. And the sooner you join, the more opportunity you have for entries into the prize drawing.
We're giving away other cool ways, support
and resources, gifts from Powerful Love.
From us.
Yeah.
So we will give more details on it in the group.
Okay.
Get registered and join.
Yeah. So if you want to find it, again, it's on our social media. We're in Bali, so we can't put a link right now. But I will say the link. It's www.powerfullove.com/PL challenge.
All lowercase.
All lowercase, and Powerful Love only has one L. Okay. Hope to see you in the challenge. Have a wonderful next week of Pride Month. Celebrate.